Man, so I've been trying to record this video for about 5 minutes now, and there's been massive fireworks in the background. So I guess that's what happens when you live in Western Sydney, guys. So can't do much about it. But yeah, it's fitting actually, I guess, since there's a scene in the trailer for Wonder Woman 1984 with Steve Trevor and Diana Prince going through a bunch of fireworks while they're in a plane. But yeah, we'll get to discussing that. But yeah, anyway, let's jump straight into the review. For Wonder Woman 1984. Just got back from the theater, advanced screening here in Sydney. So open to the public. Obviously, I'm not at that status yet where I can get invites to everything. So hopefully one day. But yeah, advanced screening, which is pretty cool. Got to see it early before the Boxing Day release. So just gonna give my thoughts and a quick review. It's gonna be non-spoiler. However, if I do delve into spoiler territory, I want to discuss one certain aspect, I'll give a warning. But yeah, just gonna be my quick thoughts on Wonder Woman 84, my review, give it a ranking. And yeah, it's good to be back in the theater again. After obviously saw Fat Man around 3 weeks ago in theaters, and that was a really enjoyable time. But it's good to be back again, and hopefully the train keeps rolling and more releases keep coming out, and we get to go to the theater more because I'm all for the theater life. But yeah, um, yeah, let's get into Wonder Woman 1984 and my quick thoughts on the first film. I think it's a bit overrated, didn't enjoy it much, but I thought Gal Gadot's performance and especially her performance as Wonder Woman was absolutely fantastic. Chris Pine as well, their relationship within the first film was I think really strong, and I've also got the Sword of Athena there, so um, I really do love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. And yeah, just going into the second film, obviously we have Wonder Woman 1984. It's set in 1984, and we heard Patty Jenkins, the director before the film, say it's not a sequel, but this is definitely a sequel, guys. I don't know what she was talking about, but yeah, this is definitely a sequel. So we have I think the film has a lot of 80s nostalgia to it. I mean, it does try to do a lot and saying, hey, it's set in the 80s. Oh, wait, did you know we're set in the 80s? Oh, this is in the 80s. And there's definitely, I don't know, there's a mall in the film that's definitely a rip-off of Starcourt Mall from Stranger Things Season 3. I'm pretty sure they did use the same set for it. I don't know. It looks like exactly identical to it. But yeah, in terms of, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of what I liked in the film. Gal Gadot again, fantastic as Wonder Woman, gives a great performance. She's gorgeous. She's amazing in that role. And Chris Pine again, he's definitely good to have him back as well. And I think their dynamic is definitely the best part of the film, and definitely what holds this film together. Gal Gadot as Diana Prince, and then Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. Their relationship definitely buy into that a lot. And then we have newcomer Christian Wiig as Barbara Minerva, and she does a fantastic job, I think, at portraying this introvert and socially awkward character from the beginning. And I think from the start, I compared her straight away to Jamie Foxx's Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where we have this socially awkward introvert, always, doesn't get along with everyone else, is not too popular at work, always fumbling their sort of notes and books. And I guess it's that stereotype we've seen before, but I think Christian Wiig does perfect at nailing that out of the park. And then obviously, comedic timing does well in the first half of the film as well, interacting with Diana here and there. And then I think what else really stands out in this film is the Themyscira scenes. So on the home island of the Amazonians, I think there's a fantastic sequence at the start. I think there wasn't enough of Themyscira. I think they should have shown more of it. Obviously, there was a lot of that in the first film, but I think I would have loved to have seen more. And a young Diana Prince, I think the child actor was also fantastic as a young Diana, and I think that scene at the beginning was a great introduction to the film, and it really brought me into. I really wanted to see the Amazonian world more now, rather than the film. And then I think just getting into it, Pedro Pascal plays the villain Maxwell Lord, and I think he does a great job of portraying this like over the top 80s villain. You can tell he's like really giving it, like really having fun with each scene. Sometimes he goes over the top, yelling, like screaming, just having his own little rant, and I can tell he's having a lot of fun. And then where my issues, they're really the strong points of the film, and I really think the first, I think, third of the film I really dug and I really enjoyed. I think there's a lot of strong points to it. There's a few strong messages the film tries sends out in terms of like about sexual harassment with women, and I think that was really strong point to put out as well. I think it sends a strong message, and then the film also sends has a really strong message at the end in terms of like just power, and then what do we want in life as well, and then sort of reverting back to humanity as well, and then what happens when sort of like things go tits up, I guess. I don't want to try and spoil too much, but I think the film does try and send a good message with that. But where the film does fall apart, in my opinion, and I think it does, it goes for more style over substance at points, and I think even when it goes for style over substance for a $200 million film, the effects are really wonky at times. And I'm not talking in terms of Barbara Minerva's character in terms of Cheetah. That was the point. I was gonna be like, oh, the effects, I think they'll look a bit iffy in terms of like, oh, this is gonna look like cats. Well, no, they're actually pretty fine, those effects, but even Cheetah's not in it that much. You don't really get to buy into her. She's like not even in it that much in the third act, and really wasted potential there with the villain. Like the payoff is not that good with her character. Anyway, that's what I think. After the first third of the film, that's when I feel it really starts to fall apart, and it's unfortunate because I really wanted to enjoy this film for the whole like duration, and I think just after the first third, I mean, there's a plot device in the film. It's called the Dreamstone, and it basically grants whatever you wish, and it's a whole MacGuffin throughout the film, and because of this MacGuffin, certain things happen, and then certain more things happen, and then things start to go haywire, and then they don't do. I don't know. The story does not do a good job of explaining that the sort of mechanics of this MacGuffin, because at one point, for instance, one person would be able to grant one wish, and then later someone would grant more than one wish, and then the Pedro Pascal's character at one point is like, oh, you've already granted your wish, so they've granted already more than one, but you've said before that they can only grant one. So there's a lot of plot inconsistencies, and this is a spoiler alert for one point in the film. I just like to think there's one point where Diana gets into like an airstrip base, and they hijack a plane, her and Steve Trevor, to get to Egypt, and they hijack a fighter jet, like an American fighter jet, and then I don't know if the fighter jet can take a one-way trip from the US, wherever I think they're in Washington, to Cairo, Egypt. So I don't know if there's enough fuel for that. And then obviously there's one power, Deanna says, it's complete throwaway line. Oh, I turned the coffee cup invisible. And then she's able to turn the whole plane invisible to obviously get away from the feds. But obviously I don't think turning a plane invisible can get a plane off a radar. Even though the plane is invisible, isn't the technology still in there to keep the plane on the radar? So there's a few inconsistencies there. And then obviously, we need to get to Egypt urgently, but we'll stop by for this fireworks spectacle. So it definitely goes for style over substance in terms of a lot of bits, and that's just one example. And then we obviously have like certain instances where our characters teleport across the world with no explanation, and it happens once, but that doesn't do a good job at explaining like how our characters get from point A to B, or like it only does it with a specific cut in the film. And sorry if I'm jumbling my words, I'm trying to get this one take, and by doing it one take, I think it's just more authentic, my review, because I've just come out of the film. I'm trying to remember what I've remembered, and if I remember a lot, that means the film wasn't memorable. But I'm just trying to remember what I can at the moment. And yeah, in terms of after the first third of the film, that's when it really starts to fall apart. I mean, the Lasso of Truth, they're really cool on screen when Deanna and Gal Gadot's kicking ass with the Lasso of Truth. It's amazing to watch, but it's really hampered down by some wonky effects in some certain chase sequences as well. But they're really short-lived, those cool moments, because then the plot does just not make sense. There's too many inconsistencies with it in terms of like, what if the same person makes the same wish, in terms of like, you'll get what I mean. There's like an instance where someone wishes to be the president of the United States. What if more than one person wishes? It doesn't like do a good job at telling the ramifications of like these certain wishes. I mean, obviously some catastrophes happen, but I don't know. I think the premise is just too wide open, and there's too many plot contrivances with it, and then it just felt all over the place when it everything started going haywire in the film, and it just started picking up the pace, and then things didn't make sense, and then the villain Pedro Pascal started phoning it in towards the end. I really didn't. I think his performance, he just became sort of a generic villain towards the end. Oh, I desire unlimited power, whatever, and then the payoff with Cheetah is not the best, but yeah, that's just my quick thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. I really think there's some entertaining bits in this film. There's a lot of entertaining bits, and sort of I think when Gal Gadot's in her prime kicking ass, and you got the theme playing, that it's really enjoyable. But it's really freaking, the film is really battered down by a poor story and a lot of plot contrivances, and in terms of like setting up the characters and Christian Wiig, Pedro Pascal. I really think the first third is really strong, but then everything starts to fall apart after that, and then I think, yeah, the payoff is not the best. There is a mid credit scene. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh wait, it definitely is fan service mid credit scene. There's no end credit scene, so after the credits there's nothing. But there is a mid credit scene, and I straight away recognized it, and then it's really nice. But yeah, just in terms, yeah, I think Wonder Woman 1984, to sum up, is more style over substance. It really goes for the 80s aesthetic. Obviously, it does that really well, but you don't need to ham like this. Like, we're not dumb. We know it's set in the 80s. The audience is not dumb. You don't need to hand fist it in our faces. But yeah, as I summed it up before, style over substance. Sorry for umming and ahhing, but yeah, just let down by a poor story. A lot of, yeah, as I said before, plot contrivances, inconsistencies. But I think that a lot of people will enjoy this film. I think a lot of young girls, young children, especially, just will enjoy this film. Like, Gal Gadot does kick ass as Wonder Woman in like a lot of scenes. But yeah, in terms of like from a narrative perspective, this film is all over the place. So in terms of what I give Wonder Woman 1984, I think I'd give Wonder Woman 1984 the rank of Padawan. Yep. Yeah, it's the rank of Padawan. You know, you got certain skills. You got the skills there. It's flashy at points. You can do cool things, but yeah, you're not quite there at the moment. There's a long way to go to build up. There's a lot of empty holes in your training. So story, for example, but yeah, in relation to the film. But yeah, there's a long way to go. But that's my thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. Listen, I said I liked certain bits, but just let down by a poor story and narrative. But yeah, it's been your boy Ellie Moses. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry for stuttering too much. Tried to do this off the bat, but yeah, as always, take care. God bless.